We are live or on demand wherever you are for the wrestling news you want. WWE has made changes, big changes to the voice of Monday Night Raw. Adnan Virk was not there for long. He is out. Also, WWE making even more staff changes. It's today's Sportskeeda Wrestling top stories of the day. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Let's get to it. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kellam. That is Jose G. Wherever you are, you have buttons you can press. So press those buttons that get more reactions. Every single person watching this video can simply just press a button for free. Press the button. Press that red shiny heart button, that likey button, and more people will see our videos. If you haven't watched our stuff already, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have a ton of content. We have a two-part interview up now with Jim Ross. We have a big interview with Conrad Thompson. We have a big archive of interviews with Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair, and so much more. Tons of content every single week. Vince Russo reviewing Monday Night Raw every single Monday night. Dutch Mantel reviewing SmackDown every Friday night. And Jose G covering AEW and NXT every Wednesday night. So plenty to get into. Jose, what's our story here with Adnan Virk?
Well, man, so it's been reported today that not only Adnan Virk, but several other employees have been cut from WWE. But the main story today is that Adnan Virk and WWE part ways. So it was announced today via Twitter that Raw commentator Adnan Virk has definitely, parted ways with the company. If you guys have followed Virk in the past, you guys know that he has been working with the MLB studio shows The Change Up, and he also does work with DAZN, which is the combat sports streaming service, boxing primarily.
Successful guy.
Yeah, he's very successful. But wrestling just wasn't his forte. There was a lot of people very vocal about him, myself included. You can catch my take on it on my show on Weekends of Wrestling. But Adnan Virk was gracious enough. He put out a tweet today saying, thanks to WWE for a wonderful opportunity. The weekly travel along with my other jobs was a grind for me and my family. I'm grateful to everyone with the company, especially Corey Graves and Byron Saxton, for being such fantastic teammates. So, now with the announcement, coming July that the fans are coming back, maybe this is probably a better fit for Adnan since he's already, occupied elsewhere. And now that they're going to be returning to the road, grinding with the travel schedule, maybe that doesn't fit in with his schedule. And maybe we'll get a suitable replacement. Twitter's already clamoring for Samoa Joe, but he's not, the play-by-play guy. He's the color commentator.
Yeah, it's worth noting.
Who do you see?
Yeah, it's worth noting you and I are in the broadcasting position. That doesn't mean we know more than maybe the common fan, but obviously, I think with Adnan Virk, they gave it a shot. They gave it. I think when everyone got really critical of him, don't be mad at WWE for trying something new. They tried something new with a traditional sports guy to see if this worked. And also to say that isn't right, that you're taking shots then at people that come from the traditional sports world. Wrestling fans want wrestling people to get wrestling jobs. I understand that. But this, look at what Jim Ross did. Jim Ross obviously developed a portfolio outside of wrestling, even though it was very much most of his career. That was, football. He called football games. Different things like Michael Cole was an associate press journalist before he was working for WWE. You need people that have a different background in broadcasting to get in there and to be able to do this here. So I'm of the thought where WWE certainly has talent in-house that they could work with here that are experienced that could do this. Are they going to get away from the 3-man booth? They have a 2-man booth over on SmackDown that's become very, very successful in the eyes of many, many fans. Pat McAfee fits like a glove as a color commentator. Michael Cole obviously has been doing, play-by-play for WWE since the late 90s and is the lead announcer for them. There's been much talk that he oversees most of the broadcasters for WWE at this moment. I don't know. Jay Feliciano saying Raw for new league. Listen. Come on. Come on now, Jay.
Hey, I already said this earlier that you, myself, and Rick Cucino can be the new Raw commentary team.
Yes. I'll do color. Is that what you're saying? I got to jump in and yell, and then
I can do the play-by-play.
then you'll have to cut me off and be like, would you stop? Would you stop? Come on, some classic back and forth Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon stuff. Would love it.
Get a life, Kevin.
Ricky Sinclair kind of overreacting. Well, it seems like WWE are in shambles. Come on. Why do people always respond to this news like it's the worst? Like it's the worst thing in the world.
Well, the reality of the situation is that they are going under some massive company cuts. This week, and a matter of fact, that actually leads into our next story because they both kind of go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Is that the WWE? And this was broken by PW Insider earlier today, that WWE started making some staff cuts as of this morning. Per the report, the staff members are going to be WWE's digital department, including the WWE Network, which was extremely hard. They were actually hit really hard by these cuts. Not only that, but Jailer Donlon, who previously served as WWE's EVP of Advanced Media Group, he's gone.
Wow.
Not to mention that Kevin Dunn is going to be taking a big chunk of the responsibility here, because it was also mentioned today during that same PW Insider report that the divisions that are going to be directly overseen by WWE employee Kevin Dunn, who is, you guys know, the vice president of TV production,
long time guy.
Multiple people who have survived the cuts have been completely shocked because, of how important some of those big high names are. But the report is saying that the production and digital divisions have seen the biggest departures, but those are the two departments that are going to be fusing together because they've learned through the pandemic that they were able to make a lot of things without as many people. So they're trying to streamline everything, kind of have the same people do the digital as the TV stuff. So it looks like they're trying to streamline things, but this is just one of their strategies in order to kind of restructure, getting ready to go back on the road and kind of streamline things instead of having one department do this and one department do this, we'll have one department do both things.
And that could change in the future. WWE's fluctuated stuff like that, like crazy. And we have people say, there's this comment here from Joe Russo saying WWE is shutting down. They're closing down.
Oh no, they're not.
This multi-billion-dollar company that just signed its third television deal for $1 billion is closing down. No, they're a publicly traded company. They're a publicly traded company, and they have to respond to all these different things. And they have to do all this. A lot of media companies have done this, especially in the pandemic, when they have to adjust all these different things. And what are they doing? You notice they made Adam Pearce the head of their live events. All right. So why would you do that if you're going back on the road again? All right. So he's going to be in charge of coordinating for stuff when people get back on the road. Then they announced all those different things. You're restructuring the company based on the times that you're in. I'm not saying I support it. I don't want people to lose their jobs. I know people that have worked in WWE that are not involved with the wrestling. They're involved in the production of it, who were affected by last year deeply. And it sucks. And I don't think they deserve it. And I work in radio, and I got cut, and I knew the cut was happening, man. And I knew the cut was happening. I'm happy to be on air again in whatever role I'm doing now. Outside of this, go check it out. I'm doing mornings in QLZ in Springfield and Rockford right now for the X. Love it. But those companies had to restructure to bring someone in. It's just whenever a company like cuts somebody, everyone's going to be critical of them. I get it. There's no nice way to do this. There's no nice way to tell Adnan Virk you're not going to be the voice of Monday Night Raw anymore. There's no nice way to tell that digital department, like, hey, we figure out a way we can do this where maybe we don't need you. But that isn't to say those people can't come back into the company during a different time and different challenges. What's to say, you know what? We need a ton of new original stuff on Peacock. So we're going to have to bring in a whole bunch of production people for that.
Very true.
I hope that the teams that worked on those documentaries are not affected by this, because the documentaries they did on WWE Network as it went into Peacock have been fantastic. The Last Ride, the 24/7s, the 24 documentaries. I hope that team is not affected by that. I briefly was around the team that worked on 365, those year-long specials in 2019. They are really, really talented people. Really, really talented people. And you don't know how those people are affected either.
Very true. And not to mention not only just those digital people, but some of the producers, the people that produce the vignettes, the people that produce some of these segments. Like I personally have a few friends, a few close friends that work with WWE that were affected by COVID last year, where they were not only just traveling and all that, but they were brought back at a less than part-time position, and that can be very, very hard. Hopefully, they can bring back some of these employees, but it is a business. They're looking out for their bottom line, and I can't blame them. And especially since they're they're getting ready to go back on the road in a few months, it's extremely important for them to be able to streamline everything.
This is a great comment here from Scott Burke. Everyone hates job cuts. Yes,
absolutely.
I don't think WWE says, it's great. We're gonna
cut jobs.
We're gonna no. That's not. Don't take the story you see on TV and think that's the reality of the situation. Dale texting in saying, "Wish WWE never let Joe go. I actually thought he was good in commentary. Joe was fantastic on commentary, and I do believe in that last Ring of Cuts. People were really upset about that because that's a guy who developed a bond with the audience. What do you want in wrestling? You want that intangible it factor of connecting with the audience in one way or another. And Joe did that on commentary well after, when some people thought maybe they were phasing him out as an in-ring performer. And do not think that we are not going to see Samoa Joe somewhere. And somewhere. And that isn't us alluding to anything. He is going to be involved in some wrestling before the end of 2021. Prediction. Not a spoiler, just a prediction, and a pretty easy one to say here. Other people chiming in here. Yes, other people saying WWE should sign us. Whenever this happens, whenever they make a change, people watch our show like they should sign you, which is a wonderful compliment. I appreciate it.
I love it.
Thank you. But I don't don't think they're knocking down our door. I don't think Stammer's being like, yes. Give me the ball.
Listen, I'm huge about manifesting stuff, so I'm just gonna put it out there so that way the universe can manifest it. I'm just gonna put it out there. So I'm just gonna put it out there, and we're gonna have that meeting with Vince, and we're like, "Hey,
stop,
hey pal, I like you, Jose, and I like you, Kevin, and you both are gonna head my Raw commentary team, pals."
Don't say wrestling. All right, we don't say wrestling here.
It's all about sports entertainment, pal.
We have some of our faithfuls like Rory asking, how many more roster cuts do you see happening? Here's the thing: we can't get into that because I think that's you're looking into the weeds here. These are not roster cuts. These are cuts to production. These are cuts to different divisions that you don't see on television. Obviously, us as fans following and watching it, someone who's on television from time to time that we don't see, they get cut. Oh, wow. That's awful. This is cuts to people that are involved in certain elements of WWE's overall production, which is pretty expansive when you actually think about it. Of course, Adnan Virk out as the lead play-by-play announcer for Monday Night Raw. We don't know who that next person's going to be. Is it going to be a three-man booth? Or they're just going to go with Byron Saxton and Corey Graves in that position? Ariel texting and saying Tom Phillips should be stubborn if they ask him to come back. You know what you should do? You should turn down a job to be the lead play-by-play announcer for the number one pro wrestling company in the world and their flagship show, which has been on air for nearly 30 years. You should give them a tough time about that when you've been on the shelf for a couple of months.
But
so that's I'm going to say, Ariel, I don't mind. Like, guys, you guys text in your comments. I have no problem going back and forth with you on it. But why would you do that for your career? Doesn't seem like a great move.
No sé. You know what that means in English? I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you for that. This I need help with it. I'm just gonna politely nod.
Yeah, just nod and smile.
Randy says, what do you say here? Randy says, we need gimmick and promo packages back in wrestling. What do you think, Jose? So you're talking like vignettes and different things like that. Well, WWE does plenty of that. You know, they're doing it with Eva Marie. I just
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black was reintroduced with the Dark Father stuff, which I thought were really entertaining. Like
they're
the
doing
animation.
tons of stuff on NXT.
Yeah.
I mean, so we got gimmicks and we got promos.
Yeah, I think we got them. And here we go. We bring up commentary. Samoa Joe was cut recently with WWE. Mike Rainey saying, I wouldn't be totally surprised if Samoa Joe ends up in AEW or Ring of Honor. I don't see him going back to Impact. Hey, it's wide open, man. He's a very, very talented guy with a lot of name value, former world champion in several different promotions, including the two that you mentioned there, Impact. No, he didn't win the world title in Impact, I believe. No, he did. I think he did. Yeah. And Ring of Honor, big title run there. Really helped put them on the map with CM Punk and several other people. I would love to see him in WWE. I'd love to see him anywhere. I mean, if he wants, especially if he feels healthy to wrestle again, he had a lot of injuries. I would love to see that. Rand also wants to see JBL back on commentary. He's been, in and out of commentary on and off for since he stopped wrestling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But he does a lot of, he's a big contributor for Fox News. So he does a lot of the market stuff and business stuff, especially for Fox Business. But I mean, he hasn't been around the game for a long. He does a lot of the pre-shows, so I know he was doing stuff for WrestleMania. But I'm sure he would be interested in doing some commentary, maybe for a short period of time until they can lock in someone long term.
Denise says, "Bring back Dennis." Excuse me, didn't even misread that. Bring back Daniel Bryan for commentary. Daniel Bryan.
Bryan.
That's a mixture of Bobby the Brain Heenan. It's like a mixture of Bobby the Brain Heenan and Daniel Bryan.
Would you shut up, Kevin?
No, I'm gonna keep talking about vegan food. That's Daniel Bryan at ringside. Jay Feliciano, a man who knows a thing or two about WWE in a very, very legitimate way, especially some of the things I've discussed here in today's video, says Nigel McGuinness. Nigel's still in the fold with WWE, still doing some commentary. I know he was one of the people who was furloughed during the pandemic. I think he'd be fantastic. Mind you, you guys are talking about color people. Who's a play-by-play guy? I'm talking about a play-by-play guy here.
I would almost probably. I mean, Vic Joseph does such a good job in NXT. Is he doing 205 Live too?
I don't believe so. I watch 205 Live in clumps where I'll won't watch it and then I'll watch 3 or 4 of them in a row.
I haven't watched 205 Live since 205 Live was good.
Oh, stop it, Jose! Oh, come on now. Put your umbrella down with your shade. What are you doing?
It stopped being good when all the 205 OGs left, bro. I'm just saying.
Then there's new guys. You want new guys.
It's so much wrestling, Kevin.
It is. It's a lot of wrestling. I understand. I can tell. It's a lot
Daniel
of
the Brain Bryan.
Daniel the Brain Bryan, dude. Let's make it. Let's combine more classic.
Can you imagine Daniel
people.
Bryan?
If you guys are watching, this will be fun. If you're watching on demand and you've gotten this far with this 18 minutes into a video, take 2 different wrestlers and combine their names together. All right, take 2 different ones and
I just want to see
mash them up. Let's see some mashups.
I just want to see Daniel Bryan in a biodegradable tuxedo that shimmers and sparkles. And it has to be a tuxedo. He has to wear a biodegradable sparkle tuxedo every Friday night on SmackDown on commentary, or on Monday Night Raw if he's going to do that.
Who people want back on commentary? Nishad, I think you may have gotten us into some serious trouble. Nishad, you have been with me for a long time. Thank you so much, Nishad. He says, bring back Bob Backlund on commentary. Bob Backlund, complete, and I mean this in this is a compliment, complete maniac in the wrestling world. Complete maniac in the wrestling world. He is a guy who, while working a WWE show, like in like a secondary role, went outside and just started selling 8x10s and photos. Like, I was at a WWE show and he was just outside. He was like yelling at everyone and selling 8x10s and photos. It was incredible. Incredible.
Gotta respect the hustle.
Yeah. Jason Michael texting you saying, hey, Kevin and Jose, question. Do you think Adnan Virk should be a good annoying heel manager for someone like Mansoor, like Davari, manager Kurt Angle or Lowell, somebody else you think would be good. Does he have a future in WWE? Well, based on the tweet he put out, it doesn't seem like that. It just seems like the guy swamped and couldn't pull off the role, or maybe figuring this out with everything else I'm doing, because doing a bunch of other broadcasting things, that this is going to be really, really hard for him to do. I mean, I don't think he was on the show, 5-6 weeks, maybe?
But yeah, just barely over a month. But one thing you got to take into account, Adnan Virk comes from a baseball background. There's not a whole lot of character work in baseball. You call the stats, you call the play-by-play,
I don't know
a conversation
what
with
you're
your partner.
talking about. We got to run on third, numbers,
Exactly.
story, numbers.
Exactly.
Numbers. Yeah.
So
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It doesn't translate into the wrestling vibe, and you have to have a certain amount of tone and delivery and this, I'm coming from someone who does it for a living. You have to have that delivery, and he just wasn't having that delivery.
Mm-hmm. Ariel says, "What about Coach? Coach has been involved. I believe he's still active.
Coach is
with
great.
ESPN. Yeah,
I love Coach. I think he's great.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's plenty of people that are going to want that spot. Plenty, and plenty of people are going to want that spot. Oh, Jose, want that spot? So definitely it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Donna Marie texting and saying, it's so weird with all the cuts, comings and goings. Yeah, it's just, I think it's the times we're in. It's surprising WWE is continuing to make this, but as things ramp up and they start to get back out there for live events, it's just an adjustment. Think about it. If these cuts mean WWE is getting more ready to go out and run a smoother production on the road, they're going to do it. Also, it's still a giant company. There's still a bunch of people. There's still a bunch of people that are going to come back here. James Espanto Fernando Taguay. He's mashing up these wrestling names that we didn't mean to do. Someone made a mistake in the comments earlier. We had Daniel the Brain Heenan, right? James says Bruno Sammartino Michaels.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Braun Booger is another one. Yes, combine Bastion Booger and Braun. Yes, if you guys want to get in the comments and mash up wrestler names, it'd be very, very fun. Have some fun with this. Also, just to mess with our social media team, why don't you tweet at SK Wrestling _ these mashed up wrestling names?
Oh my God.
And they'll be like, what did you guys do in the video today? We're like, well, check it out.
We're gonna have to come up with a new segment here for the top story. Specifically for Twitter, maybe like a hashtag war type of deal, kind of do some matches. So maybe we'll get together. Maybe we'll start something like that and get some engagement,
man. And do some fun stuff like that. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and give us a follow on the Twitter machine. You can follow Jose at Jose_G_official. Follow me on the Twitter machine at Kev Kellam, KEVKELLAM. Find out about all the radio stuff I'm doing, comedy stuff that's going on. I'll be at Zany's in Chicago at the end of June, which is pretty sweet. Jose, what do you got going on with Ricans of Wrestling?
So Ricans is coming back this Thursday. We're going to be covering all the results from WrestleMania Backlash last week, kind of recap everything that's going on in the world of wrestling, and then off to Memorial Day weekend, broski.
Woo! It's just rolling, man. I hope you guys are staying safe, getting your shots, keeping your distance, getting tested, and getting ready for the big return that comes at some point this summer.
It's imminent.
It's imminent. We know the dates with WWE. We know the dates with AEW. And also go support that independent promotion near you. I did AAW this past weekend, and we had a great crowd. Crowd's so slowly starting to build. Things are slowly starting to come back. Rory saying, Kevin the Body Ventura, listen, I'm off the grid. Don't ask me. Jesse the Body Ventura, you little pipsqueak. I can't remember what he would call people like that.
That was pretty spot on there.
Yeah, I'm doing an impression of comedian James Adomian's impression of Jesse the Body Ventura. Is that
it's an impression of an impression. It's very Inception of you.
Yes, it's I've it's the turducken of comedy is what I'm going for.
Jose G, the Puerto Rican dream. Yes,
there you go. That. Rory, send that one in too. Here, people are having a lot of different fun with these and enjoying these quite a bit here. Yes, thank you guys so much. about what's going on here. Thank you so much for getting involved in the conversation. If you guys are watching us on demand, get down there in the conversation. We'll still respond to you, especially on YouTube, especially on Facebook. Get involved. Let us know what you think. Haven't done it already, go ahead and subscribe to our Spotify podcast as well, as we're doing a lot more content on there audibly for you to enjoy. Thank you so much. Remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing after hitting subscribe, after hitting like. You watch the wrestling. All right, I don't know who's doing commentary, but when I watch wrestling, what am I supposed to do? Jose G.
You're supposed to enjoy wrestling.